We are all human. This simple truth is where our journey begins. To be human is to be beautifully imperfect. We will stumble. We will make choices we later regret. We will sometimes say the wrong thing or take a path that leads us somewhere unexpected. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that we are alive, that we are trying, and that we are participating in the messy, complicated, and wonderful experience of living. No one is exempt from this. Every single person you meet, no matter how put together they seem, has a history of mistakes and missteps. It is the shared story of humanity. Mistakes are not a deviation from the path. They are a part of the path itself. Think of life as a grand exploration. No great explorer ever set out with a perfect map that foretold every obstacle. They ventured into the unknown, they made wrong turns, and they learned from the terrain. Our lives are just the same. We are not given a flawless instruction manual at birth. We learn by doing, by trying, and yes, by failing. Expecting perfection from ourselves or from others is like expecting the ocean to be still. It goes against the very nature of what it means to be. The world often tells us a different story. It shows us polished images of success and hides the messy process it took to get there. This creates an illusion that everyone else has it all figured out. It can make us feel isolated in our own struggles. But the reality is that behind every achievement, there are countless moments of uncertainty, doubt, and error. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who never make mistakes, but those who have learned to embrace their imperfections. They understand that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the birthplace of courage and connection. So let's start by accepting this universal truth. Let's look at our own mistakes not as shameful secrets, but as proof that we are engaging with life. Let's offer ourselves the same grace we would offer a friend who is trying their best. Making mistakes does not decrease our worth. It does not make us unlovable or broken. It simply makes us human, and being human is a courageous act. Let's honor that courage in ourselves and in each other by acknowledging that we are all in this together, learning as we go. When we make a mistake, two heavy feelings often show up: guilt and shame. It is so important to understand the difference between them. Guilt says, "I did something bad." It is a feeling that is focused on our behavior. Shame, on the other hand, is much more dangerous. Shame says, "I am bad." It attacks our very identity and tells us that we are fundamentally flawed. While guilt can sometimes motivate us to apologize or make amends, shame does the opposite. It makes us want to hide, to disconnect, and to believe we are unworthy of a second chance. We often learn to carry these heavy chains from a young age. Sometimes others place them on us. They might use blame to control us or to make themselves feel better. At other times, we are our own harshest critics. We replay our mistakes over and over in our minds, letting the voice of our inner critic tell us that we are not good enough. Accepting this blame, whether from outside or from within, keeps us trapped. It is like trying to run a race while dragging a heavy anchor behind you. It slows us down, exhausts our spirit, and prevents us from moving forward. The problem with shame and lingering guilt is that they serve no positive purpose in our growth. They are not helpful teachers. Instead, they are paralyzing forces. When we are stuck in shame, we are not learning or improving. We are simply suffering. Our energy is consumed by feelings of worthlessness, leaving no room for courage, creativity, or change. Shame convinces us that we should just give up because we will only mess up again. It is a lie that thrives in silence and isolation, making us feel alone in our struggles. To move forward, we must learn to recognize these feelings and refuse to let them define us. We have to challenge the narrative that a mistake makes us a bad person. It is essential to separate our actions from our inherent worth. You are not your worst mistake. You are a whole person, full of potential for growth, love, and contribution. Letting go of the blame is not about excusing the behavior. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional prison that prevents you from becoming a better version of yourself. What if we chose to see our mistakes differently? What if, instead of viewing them as dead ends, we saw them as maps? A mistake can show us exactly where we went wrong. It can highlight a skill we need to develop, a boundary we need to set, or a belief we need to question. When we see a mistake as a source of information, it loses its power to create shame. It becomes a tool, a guide that can lead us toward greater wisdom and self-awareness. This shift in perspective requires immense courage, but it is the key to unlocking real, meaningful growth. Think about a time you learned a new skill, like riding a bike or learning an instrument. Did you get it right on the first try? Of course not. You fell, you hit the wrong notes, you fumbled. Each of those failures was a crucial piece of feedback. Falling taught you how to balance. Hitting a wrong note taught you where to place your fingers. These were not reasons to quit. They were the lessons that paved the way to success. Life's bigger lessons work in the exact same way. Our errors are simply feedback from the world, telling us what we need to adjust. Embracing this mindset means getting curious about our missteps. Instead of saying, "I'm so stupid," we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple question transforms us from a victim of our circumstances into an active participant in our own development. It takes the focus off the pain of the mistake and places it on the potential for improvement. It allows us to gather the data from our experiences and use it to make better choices in the future. This is the essence of resilience. It is the ability to mine our struggles for the wisdom needed to build a stronger self. This process is not about being perfect. It is about being whole. It is about integrating all of our experiences, the good and the bad, into the person we are becoming. When we have the courage to face our mistakes with curiosity instead of condemnation, we are practicing true self-respect. We are telling ourselves that we are worthy of learning and growing. We are turning the moments that could have broken us into the very moments that build us. Our mistakes do not have to be monuments to our failure. They can become the milestones of our evolution. The final and most crucial step in this journey is to rise above the pull of guilt and shame by choosing self-compassion. Rising strong after a fall is not about pretending it did not hurt. It is about acknowledging the pain and then choosing to be kind to ourselves anyway. Self-compassion is the antidote to shame. It is the practice of treating ourselves with the same care and understanding that we would offer to a dear friend who is struggling. It is about reminding ourselves that we are worthy of kindness, especially when we feel we deserve it the least. Letting go of blame is an active choice. It means you must consciously decide to stop the cycle of negative self-talk. When the voice in your head starts to criticize you for a past mistake, you can choose to respond with kindness. You can say, "Yes, I made a mistake and I am learning from it. I am doing my best." This is not about making excuses. It is about offering yourself grace. You must become your own greatest ally on this journey. Remember, the real problem is not that you made a mistake. The real problem is letting the negativity from that mistake take up permanent residence in your heart. Your energy is a precious resource. Do not waste it on shame or regret. Instead, channel that energy into growth, learning, and moving forward. Focus on who you want to become, not on who you were in a moment of weakness. Every day is a new opportunity to make choices that align with your values. Every moment is a chance to practice being the person you aspire to be. The past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. You have the power to write the next chapter of your story, and it does not have to be defined by the chapters that came before. So rise. Rise above the voices of blame, both internal and external. Rise above the heavy feelings that tell you to stay small and hidden. Embrace your story with all its imperfections as the beautiful, messy, and courageous tale that it is. Keep moving forward, one compassionate step at a time. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself. And never, ever forget that you are worthy of love, belonging, and a life filled with growth and joy, not because you are perfect, but because you are human.